those regulations and those compliance requirements are first kind of an additional burden for the banks. The right approach would be not to look at it as a burden, but integrate it in a way that makes life for RMs and for clients easier than before. To be even closer to the client, to be even better, to have an even better service to the client. So it's about not just integrating that in the current processes and making those processes even more complicated, but it's about changing the processes and adapting them around those requirements and basically improving service internally in the bank and externally to the client through the implementation. Yesterday, I had the opportunity to listen to Mark Branson, who is the director of the FINMA, of the Swiss regulator, and he said that at the very top of their list is cybersecurity, and that with the more the bank gets digital, the more connected they get, the more data there is, the more risk there is, of course, to have that this might be breached or used in a way that it shouldn't. And that's something which will be probably at the very top of the list of also on the banks going forward. Another point is the regulation of new technologies like AI algorithms that are used more and more in different at different places in banks, like in different units, for risk management, for advisory, for compliance also. And that's a very new topic. So here the regulators are still trying to understand where it goes and how to regulate that in the first place, and to understand that in the first place. Another thing is that we see that banks today are not, it's not everything is not done in one bank. They are living within a digital ecosystems. There are third-party providers providing different services, providing technology and so on. And the regulation of this kind of ecosystem is a complex thing in itself. And that's also something which is now being understood by the regulators, and they're trying to find out how to deal with that. The data is not only stored at the bank anymore, it's stored on the cloud, it's stored by third-party providers and so on. So all of that has to be looked at. And finally, there is of course quite some change in the expectations of the clients. They are expecting real-time access to the bank. They are expecting high availability. Because of that, redundancy in the bank is lower than it was before. So if something doesn't work, the client just don't have access anymore. They cannot simply walk into the bank and talk with someone there. And here, of course, the regulator will have to follow up and find ways to integrate that also in his regulations.